Now at 11. A former St. Johns County deputy on trial. His actions during a traffic stop in 2019 now have him facing an aggravated battery charge. Plus, Pfizer says its data shows its COVID vaccine is safe for those as young as 5. But the government still needs to give the green light for kids 5 through 11. What you need to know and what the timeline is. And the fight to get more access to loved ones hospitalized with COVID. Families pushing back on policies restricting access that have kept some from saying goodbye. Good evening, and thank you so much for staying up with us tonight. I'm Heather Crawford. First at 11 tonight, a former Jacksonville Sheriff's Office detective will plead guilty in a cold case murder to avoid the death penalty. This is video from a prior court appearance for William Billy Baer. He's charged in the 1999 stabbing death of convenience store owner Saeed Kawaf. Baer is set to make his plea and face sentencing next Tuesday. Frustration rising over the miscollections of garbage, recyclables, and yard waste piling up all around Jacksonville. It is definitely the #1 issue that you have been calling and emailing us about. And tonight, On Your Side's Haley Harrison is investigating why collections are so backed up right now. She's also sharing more about a 2-part solution one city council member is proposing. Haley Harrison, On Your Side. Thanks so much, Haley. I know we'll continue to follow this closely. Well, listen to this. When a Jacksonville man had yard waste in his yard for more than 2 months, he decided to take measures into his own hands.
Felt the need to take it upon myself to load it up, get it off the curb, and take it to the dump.
And so that's what he did. Thomas Mann and 2 neighbors loaded nearly 700 pounds of yard waste onto a rented U-Haul truck bed. They paid for that rental and the service fee at the city's landfill. To service, of course, typically free to homeowners. Well, a new waste service provider has been hired by the city of Jacksonville to pick up trash and recycling. This new contractor will take over service for residents in North and Northwest Jacksonville. And there are big fines for companies that are not providing pickup services. The city provided its latest information from July. Waste Pro had the largest fine, $116,000. Advanced Disposal Services was fined $62,000, and Republic Services had to pay $1,100. Our full investigation is posted right now in the First Coast News app. Well, some big news today from Pfizer. The company says that its COVID-19 vaccine is safe and effective for children 5 to 11 years old. The dosage of those shots is about 1/3 of what adults get. Pfizer plans to submit data to the FDA for emergency use authorization for this age group by the end of the month. All vaccines, including those for kids, have to go through several steps before getting FDA approval. So drug makers complete trials to gather the data to show federal regulators. An advisory committee looks at that information before it's sent to the FDA. Then after that, an independent committee for the CDC will take a look at the safety and efficacy. And once the vaccine gets the green light from the FDA and from the CDC, it's then made available to the public. As soon as tomorrow, we could find out if human remains found in Wyoming are in fact those of Gabby Petito. An autopsy is scheduled to be complete tomorrow. Meanwhile, the search continues for her fiancé, Brian Laundrie. Today, the FBI searched his home near Sarasota days after he was named a person of interest in her disappearance. The couple spent months together documenting their cross-country journey in a van. But when they got to Utah, police body camera video appears to show the couple in a fight.
We drove by and the gentleman was slapping the girl.
We'd have been fighting all morning and he would have let me in the car before.
Laundrie has not been seen in almost a week. New information revealed in day 1 of the trial of a former St. Johns County deputy. Anthony DeLeo is accused of hitting Christopher Butler with his baton 19 times and kicking him in the head twice. Prosecutors call this excessive force. The former deputy's attorney says Butler refused to cooperate after he ran several red lights and then kicked and spat on law enforcement.
All told, Butler ends up with a broken shoulder blade, broken elbow, broken nose, chipped teeth, and permanent facial scarring.
The trial is scheduled to continue tomorrow. A project is underway to end flooding in the McCoy Creek community. When the construction's finished, many streets will be permanently closed. McCoy's Creek Boulevard is being removed from Cherokee Street to Margaret Street. Edison, Stockton, King, and Forest Streets will become the main travel routes. This project is expected to take about 18 months to complete. Tonight, another family is calling for hospital policies to change so that families can have more access to their loved ones with COVID. This as a petition asking Governor Ron DeSantis to help change policy continues to grow.
Where do I start? Just everything I wanted to be.
COVID robbed Peter Robertson of his healthy 50-year-old father. Weeks later, it took his 44-year-old uncle, Paul Sampson, who was a pastor in Brooker, Florida. And the very next day, he lost his 71-year-old grandfather, Gene Sampson, a retired firefighter who lived just a mile from Peter and his parents in Orange Park.
It seems like the men in our family that were needed the most, that were relied on the most, that did the most, were the ones that passed.
Just been horrible.
In the span of just 3 weeks, Peter's mom, Irene, lost her father, her brother, and her husband.
I never thought I was going to have to live any of my life without my husband, but certainly not at this young age, and certainly not my father and my brother.
She and her husband, Steve, were both admitted to St. Vincent's Riverside Hospital July 7th with COVID.
So they were rolling me to my room, and as I passed by my husband's room, he was sitting on the edge of the bed having a snack, and we just waved to each other. We just thought it was going to be another day or two, and we'd be out doing all the things that we had to be doing. That was the last time that I laid eyes on him, because when I left the hospital 4 days later, they would not even let me go near his room or on his floor, or none of that. That was the last time I saw my husband.
After 26 years of marriage, she says she and their 2 children never got to say goodbye due to hospital protocol.
I think it's very important that something be done to change that.
She says she wasn't allowed to see her husband until the very end when they were doing chest compressions.
He never did revive, so meaning he had already passed. But we could gown up then and double mask then and go see him. But why not when he could hear our voices and respond and feel the love and say last words? Why were we denied that? It's not right. It's not right. And it's important to the person in the hospital, probably more than they even realize it, but it's also important to us who never got to say goodbye. Apparently, and I didn't know this, but the neighbor kids would come down the street and he would be the man that would help them fix their bikes.
The Robertsons are clinging to their faith.
That just makes me love them more.
It's the only thing we have to cling to in a time like this, when so much is lost.
For Irene, that lost goodbye only adds more heartache and pain.
It's not right. It's not fair. It's not fair to the person in the hospital. It's not fair to the family members either.
As Peter starts his first year of college, he holds tightly to memories of his grandfather, uncle, and father, feeling both their presence and their absence.
I feel so empty and I feel so betrayed in an odd way, because when I press that number, it's just going to keep on ringing. He's never going to pick up.
Such a tremendous void for that family. I reached out to Ascension St. Vincent's. The hospital tells me the health and safety of its patients, associates, and visitors are its top priorities. In a statement, it said, "We know how important and impactful it can be for a hospitalized patient to see loved ones, and we take this into account when creating and adjusting our policies, which are in place for everyone's safety." It went on to say that our policies are also in alignment with clinical best practices used by many hospitals and health systems locally, regionally, and nationally. And you can read more about this story and also find a link to the change.org petition calling for hospital policy to change in this story on our website. Lines on a map will determine the balance of power in Florida and the U.S. Voting districts are set to be drawn in the coming months. The process, called redistricting, started today in Tallahassee. We're told the next few months will be consequential not only for you, but for elected officials.
There's a lot of people who are going to be drawing these districts who are state senators and state representatives who are eyeing their next run for office. And they're going to be thinking to themselves, what's the district I want to run for? How do I make sure my house is in here? How do I make sure that the person I'm thinking I will run against is in a different district?
More on the redistricting process and pitfalls is posted right now in the First Coast News app. A challenge to Roe v. Wade reaches the nation's highest court. December 1st, the Supreme Court will look at Mississippi's ban on most abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. The law is the first to reach the court following other state laws, like in Texas. The High Court declined to block the Texas law that bans abortions around 6 weeks. Well, get ready to open up your wallet the next time you head to the gas pump. Prices at the gas pump in Jacksonville, they're up 10 cents over the past week. According to Gas Buddy, the average price for a gallon of gas is $3.07. We're told that prices are up because of the effects on the industry from Hurricane Ida. And if you need some help putting food on the table, it is available. FarmShare is hosting several food giveaways this week. Tomorrow it will be in McClinney. Another event is scheduled Thursday in Middleburg. Then there will be 3 giveaways in Jacksonville on Saturday. They are drive-through only events, and you do need to wear a mask. Lava from a volcano scorches houses, forcing thousands of people to leave. You're taking a look at new video. This is from Spain, where that lava flow has destroyed about 100 houses so far. At least 5,000 people, including 500 tourists, have evacuated. This volcano erupted yesterday for the first time in 50 years. So far, no deaths or any serious injuries have been reported. The volcano is expected to be active over the next several days. I like it. Thanks, Tim. Well, a Civil War shipwreck along the coast of St. Augustine is now reburied. The winds and waves of a nor'easter uncovered parts of the ship in November. A team of archaeologists says it would have taken cost millions of dollars to preserve the pieces of the boat if it had been removed from the sand. They say the sand will actually help preserve the wreck. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We will see you back here tomorrow. Hope you have a great one.